What's up, guys? We are back here, Archeworld, and let's talk about the player farming and the PvE aspects of the game. So, player farming is quite similar to ArcAge in regard where you're going to be planting crops. Unfortunately, there's a small selection of crops. There's one specific tree for each region. There's one specific flower for each region. There's one specific like pen animal hut for each region and so forth. So it's all got condensed down, and they all provide roughly the same amount of yield. They all take around 8 hours and 30 minutes to actually harvest as well, and they all have this semi-large footprint. So, excuse me. So you can't, you can't go mad single seed planting, 100 things, which is also nice. It saves your time, saves you energy to plant down. So this is a medium house. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I believe it's 4 over here, 20. So you're able to plant down 20 crops on a medium house with a tent. This goes down in size once you actually build your house on this. I believe it's going to be around 10 or so. On a small land with a tent, you're able to plant a tent, and then you're able to plant 12 crops. So crops are quite valuable. The only other place where you can actually plant your crops is in the public farming zones. So public farming zones are these scarecrow areas on the map, and we'll say public farm. And there's a spot for about maybe 100 plants, crops to grow there. You can plant anything in those public farm now. It's 3 per account, or 3 per character, and they fill up quick. So now, as of now, that's the only way free-to-play players can plant. You cannot plant out in the wild. So if you didn't get a spot in the public farms, you're SOL, which is shit out of luck, because there's nowhere for you to plant. So you cannot harvest and plant trees, or cannot make crops like the skiing, and you can't get ore because there's no ore out in the wild. There's no harvestables in the wild whatsoever. You cannot plant out in the wild either. So you can see I can't plant here, can't plant there, you can't plant anywhere. There's nowhere else besides your house and those public farms that you can plant. So the PvE experience of being a farmer is definitely more limiting in this version, because again, it's log in once every 8.5 hours, collect your crops, and then log out. Not that enjoyable, to be fair with it. Hopefully they do add more and different things and different varieties in the future, but we'll see what they do. There's nothing planned from the AMAs or the roadmap on that, so we will see. But that is the farming aspect of Archeworld. The housing aspect is pretty cool though. So you can see there's a house down here. House looks way better than the tent. The bigger houses obviously look better as well. So you have medium, large mansions. You can also make them 2 stories. So those guys are very, very expensive, but they just made them cheaper. So you have to buy the building blueprint, and it costs you some blue salt. This blue salt though is actually staked. So it says you can receive the blue salt used for purchase by returning to the Blue Salt Brotherhood return station. Blue Salt Brotherhood return station can be found in the community centers of all regions. So this is a stake. You buy this, and then when you want to leave or change your house, you go take it to the guy, and he'll give you all your blue salt back. So even though it is very, very expensive looking, you essentially get all this back. And if the game does well, which it has been doing, and the cryptocurrency has been going up nonstop, then staking tokens is actually a really, really good thing. When the cryptocurrency goes down and starts falling, staking tokens is bad because your tokens are locked up for a while. But with how the system is in this game, there is no actual blue salt tokens produced by the game yet. So the game is literally only destroying blue salt tokens. They're removing them from game. Every time someone buys something on the auction house, so whether they buy a labor potion or crafting material or anything, like if they buy logs and lumber, so anytime someone buys an item, 10% is taken away from the sale price. So this is 12.8. So if someone were to buy this, then 1 0.28 would actually be given to XL Games as the transaction fee. Half of that goes into their funds, and then half of that gets locked up permanently. So the supply is constantly replenishing. Well, actually, let's not say permanently, because they said it's locked up, and I'm sure if things got really bad that they would release it. I don't, who knows. So half of it is sort of locked up. We'll just say that. Definitely check out the white paper for more information on this. But again, the white paper can be changed, and they've done a couple changes in it before. So everything is, take it with a grain of salt when you're dealing with XL Games. They definitely can change and adjust things. We do have big news too, that they are adjusting the in-game rifts. The in-game rifts are actually going to be providing Archeum for players now for completing the quest. The daily quest, there's I believe 6 daily quests, and so those are going to be providing Archeum now as well. So we don't know how much, but that is a huge change, and we'll talk about that in a different video. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.